Hi guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll be covering what is an exception and how to handle exception by using try, except, else and finally blocks. Next, I will explain context management and what is use of exe info function and what are standard exceptions in Python. And then I will explain why exceptions now, why exceptions at all and exceptions as a string. And at last, I will explain raising exceptions, assertions and creating our own exceptions in Python. Guys, whatever the topics that I am going to cover in this video, I provided all those topics in description. So before starting this video, please check in description. Guys, I have uploaded complete Python programming subject tutorials. I will provide link in description. You can watch from there. If you are watching this video for the first time, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Let's get started. At first, I will explain what is an exception in Python. And then I will explain how to handle exceptions by using try, except, else and finally blocks. Before starting this, you need to know what is difference between exception and error. For example, I written here a equal to 10 and I written print of a. Actually, print spelling is print, but here I written print because I written print spelling wrong. So this is error. Whenever error occurs in our program, then our program will not get executed. I'll explain what is exception. Exception is also error. But difference between exception and error is that whenever error occurs in our program, then this program will stop execution. But whereas in exception, whenever exception occurs in our program, then this program will get executed. But after program execution, this code will display error. In this example, I written a equal to 10 and b equal to 0. Next, I written here print a by b. We cannot divide any number by 0. If we divide any number by 0, then it will display error. This error is known as exception error. Normally, we call this exception as runtime error. Compile time error means whatever the Python program that you written, it is in high level language. This high level language code will not get converted into machine understandable language. This is known as compile time error. And whereas runtime error means program will get converted from high level language to low level language. But whenever we run that code, it will display error. This is known as runtime error. And whereas in this zero division error example, program will get converted from high level language to machine understandable language. But due to wrong logic, it can't run that code. So we call it as runtime error. Error in Python can be of two types. One is syntax error and next one is exceptions. Errors are the problems in program due to which program will stop execution. I written here print of a. So this is known as syntax error. Whenever syntax error occurs, then this program will stop execution. Exceptions are raised when program is synthetically correct, but code result in an error. This error do not stop execution of program. However, it changes normal flow of the program. I already said before, this is example. I written a equal to 10, b equal to 0 and c equal to a by b. Whenever I write here print c, we cannot divide any number by 0. So you will get output 0 division error. That is division by 0. This code does not stop execution of program. However, it changes normal flow of the program. Next, I will explain how to handle exception. We can handle exception by using try, except and finally block. I will give an example so that you can clearly understand what is use of this try, except and finally block. Same example which I took before. I am writing a equal to 10, b equal to 0 and c equal to a by b. So whenever you write here print c, you will get 0 division error. Now I will handle this problem by using try and except block. This is syntax of try and except block. Just write here try, give colon. Inside this try block, you need to place risky code. That is nothing but code that may cause exception. And next I took here except block. For example, if exception does not occur, then whatever the code that is present inside try block will be executed. If exception occurs, then whatever the code that is present inside except block will be executed. I will give an example. We will handle this exception by using try and except block. So same example, just write here a equal to 10. And b equal to 0. As we know, we cannot divide any number by 0. So just take here try block, that is write try and give colon. Now inside this try block, I am writing risky code, that is c equal to a by b. That is nothing but this code may cause exception. So this is risky code. So c equal to a by b and next I am writing here print c. Next I am taking except block. So take except block. Inside except block, I am writing one statement like print. I am writing here print b value can't be 0. If exception does not occur, then whatever the code that is present inside try block will be executed. But whenever exception occur, then whatever the code that is present inside try block will not be executed and whatever the code that is present inside except block will be executed. So here I given a equal to 10 and b equal to 0. So we cannot divide any number by 0. It will skip this code and whatever the code that is present inside except block will be executed. So I will get output b value can't be 0. This is my output. But in place of b equal to 0, if I give b value as 20, so 10 by 20 that is 1 by 5 that equal to 0.5. So there is no exception in try block. So whatever the code that is present inside try block will be executed. So I will get output 0.5. So only if any exception occurs inside try block, then it will skip this try block and it will execute except block. But if there is no exception in try block, then whatever the code that is present inside try block will be executed. This is use of try and except block. Next I will explain what is use of finally block. Same example, just in place of except you need to write finally. No matter whether there is exception or not, this finally block is always executed. If any exception occurs, this finally block is executed. If any exception does not occur, even though this finally block is executed. This is example, same example which I took before. Here I will get exception because we cannot divide any number by 0. So I will get output. It will skip this try block and it will execute finally block. Hello. But if I take b value as 20, yes, we can divide 10 by 20. 10 by 20 is nothing but 1 by 2. That equal to 0.5. So whenever I write here print C, I will get output 0.5. No matter whether there is an exception or not, this finally block is always executed. So I will get output 0.5 and as well as hello. This is my output. Next I will explain what is use of try, except and else block. Same example. If any exception occur, then it will skip this try block and else block and it will execute only except block. But if there is no exception, then it will execute try block and else block and it will skip except block. This is example. Here I will get exception because we cannot divide any number by 0. So it will skip this try block and else block and it will execute only except block. So I will get output b value can't be 0. This is my output. For example, if there is no exception, then it will execute both try block and as well as else block. For example, if I take b value as 20, now there is no exception. So I will get output that is 10 by 20 that equal to 0.5 and as well as it will execute else block. So I will get output 0.5 and hello. Because inside else block I written hello, I will get output 0.5 and as well as hello. This is use of try, except and else block. If there is exception, it will execute only except block, but if there is no exception, then it will execute try block and as well as else block. Next I will explain raising exceptions. By using raise keyword, we can create our own exceptions. I will give one example. I written here a equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is list. List contains total 6 items. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to create my own exception. Just I am writing here if length. This list is present in variable a, so just write here a. If length of a is greater than 4, for example, if I give length greater than 4, then it should display exception. By using raise keyword, we can create our own exception. So just write here raise exception. We are creating exception. So I am writing here exception. And here you need to take E in capital letter or else it will display error. Exception. Inside this I want to create some error message like error length of list must be less than 3. That is error length of list must be less than 3. This is exception which is created by me. We can create custom exceptions by using raise keyword. Here I given condition that is length of a should not be greater than 4. But here I took total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But here I took total 6 items. So length is 6. So it will display exception. So this is my output. Except raise, it will display remaining. That is exception. What is exception? Error length of list must be less than 3. This is use of raise keyword. By using raise keyword, we can create our own exceptions. So just write here raise exception E in capital letter and inside this you can write exception. Next I will explain assertions. Assertion is nothing but Boolean expression that checks if the statement is true or false. If statement is true, then it does nothing and it continues execution. But if statement is false, then it stops execution and it will display error. This is flowchart for assertion. If this assertion condition is true, then program will continue. But if this assertion condition is false, then it will stop execution and gives assertion error. That means it will display some error message. This is example. Here I written a equal to 4 and b equal to 0. As you know, we cannot divide any number by 0. Here for assertion, we need to use assert keyword. So I written here assert. I am giving condition that is b must not be equal to 0. After that, take comma and give error message. That is nothing but I am giving error message like 0 division error. This is use of assert keyword. Write here assert and give condition. Only if this condition is satisfied, then it will continue execution. But if this condition is not satisfied, then it will display error message that is 0 division error. And I am writing another statement that is write print a by b. Here I given condition that is b is not equal to 0. but here b value is equal to 0. This condition is not satisfied. Only if b value is not equal to 0, then it will continue execution, that is, it will print a by b. But here I given b equal to 0. Condition is not satisfied, so it will not print a by b. Just it will display error message, that is 0 division error. So I will get output 0 division error. For example, if I give b value as 2, yes, this condition is satisfied, so it will continue execution. So I will get output, that is 4 by 2, that equal to 2. Only if this condition is true, it will continue execution. If this condition is false, then it will stop execution and it will display 0 division error. You can give any error message here. I given message, that is 0 division error. Next I will explain how to create our own exceptions. In Python we can define custom exceptions, nothing but our own exceptions, by creating new class that is derived from built-in exception class. This is syntax. At first I am creating class by using keyword class. You can create any class. So at first I written class. Inside this I am creating my own exception. You can give any name. I am giving exception name as custom error, and this is derived from exception class. So inside this I written exception. Meaning of this is we are creating new class, that is custom class, which is derived from built-in exception class. So this is built-in class, that is exception. Inside this write pass and next use try and except block. And inside except block you need to give custom error. I will give an example. In this example I am creating my own exception, that is invalid age exception. If person is above 18, then he is eligible to vote. But if person is less than 18, then he is not eligible to vote. So I am creating exception for this. I written here class. I am creating my own exception. That exception name is invalid age exception. And this invalid age exception is derived from exception class. So inside brackets I took exception. Inside this I am not writing any statements. Just I written here pass. And next I written here a equal to int of input of enter number. Whenever you run this line of code, you will get output enter number, and you can give any integer value. And next inside try block I written if age is greater than 18, I should get output eligible to vote. So I written here if age is greater than 18, print eligible to vote. Else if I give age less than 18, then it should give error message, that is nothing but exception. So inside else block I written, by using raise keyword we can create our own exceptions. So inside else I written raise, and our exception name is invalid age exception. So I written this here. And next inside except block I written invalid age exception. And inside this I am giving some message like print exception occurred invalid age. In this example you need to follow indentation or else it will display error. Follow same indentation for try and except block. And inside try block I written if else statement. So after giving some space, write if. And how much space you took for if condition, same space you need to take for else condition. Give same indentation for if else. Here for inbuilt exception class you need to take E as capital. For example, if you take E as small letter, it will display error. So definitely for exception take E as capital. If I enter value which is greater than 18, I will get output eligible to vote. Else if I enter value which is less than 18, I will get output exception occurred invalid age exception. This is program which is created by me in order to create my own exceptions. So here I will get output enter number. For example, if I enter age 45, I will get output eligible to vote. For example, if I give age that is 14, whenever I enter age 14, it will check condition, that is 14 is not greater than 18, 14 is less than 18. This condition is not satisfied. So it will skip this if block and it will execute else block. Else block contains raise invalid age exception, and this invalid age exception is present in except block, that is except invalid age exception, and this except block contains statement that is print exception occurred invalid age. So I'll get output exception occurred invalid age whenever I enter value which is less than or equal to 18. By using exception class we can create user defined exceptions, that is nothing but we can create our own exceptions by using exception class. And this exception class is built-in class, that is nothing but this class is already present in Python. This invalid age exception is exception which is created by me. Next I will explain context management. In any programming language, the usage of resources like files and database is very common. For example, if you consider language like C, even in C programming we use files. So the usage of resources like files and database is very common in any programming language. Therefore, the main problem lies in making sure that to release these resources after the usage. That is nothing but, for example, I opened file, then definitely we need to close that file. If we don't close that file, then our system may slow down or crash. In order to overcome this problem, we use context managers. By using context managers, we can automatically close that file. For example, there is one text file in local disk D. The text file name is hello.txt. Now I want to add text. My name is Nagendra into my file hello.txt. I will write program for this. My file name is hello.txt and my file is present in local disk D. By using open function, you can open any file. So I written here a equal to open. Inside open function, I am writing my file is present in local disk D and my file name is hello.txt. So write here d / hello.txt in double quotations. This is my file. I want to add text. My name is Nagendra into my file hello.txt. By using write mode, we can add text. So open this file in write mode and take this in double quotations. We open this file in write mode. And next, I want to add text. My name is Nagendra. By using write method, we can add any text and my file is present in object A. So write here a.write. This is method. Inside write method, I am writing text. My name is Nagendra. Where my name is Nagendra is string. So take my name is Nagendra in quotations. Whenever you run this line of code, it will add text. My name is Nagendra into your file. After performing operation, we need to close our file. By using close method, we can close file. So write here a dot, because my file is present in object A. So write here a dot close. So it will close your file. For example, there is an exception occurred while writing this line of code. Whenever any exception occur while writing this line of code, then it will stop execution here and it will not close this file. The main problem lies in making sure to release these resources after usage. Whenever you use any resource, definitely we need to release resources after usage. But if you don't release these resources, then your system may slow down or crash. Here in this example, whenever exception occurred while writing this line of code, it will not close this file. But whenever we don't close our file, then our system may slow down or crash. So in order to overcome this problem, we use context managers. Context managers are classified into two types. They are try and finally construct, and next one is with construct. Both are used for resource management. So we can also call this context management as resource management because they are used to manage resources. At first I will explain try and finally approach. Same example which I took before. I written here a equal to open. Inside open function I written hello.txt in quotations, comma. I want to add text. My name is Sai into my file hello.txt. So open this file in write mode. Whenever you run this line of code, it will open file hello.txt in write mode. Now I want to add text. My name is Sai into my file. Take try block. Inside try block write a.write. Take double quotations and inside double quotations you need to write my name is Sai. Whenever you run this line of code, it will add text. My name is Sai into my file hello.txt. Guys, definitely write here a dot because my file is present in object A. So definitely write here a.write. Again take finally block. Inside finally block I written a.close. By using close method, we can close our file. My file is present in object A, so I written here a.close. Though if there is an exception or not, this finally block is always executed. Inside finally block, I written a.close. If there is no exception, then successfully it will execute code which is present in try block and it will close this file. If there is no exception, then successfully it will add my name is Sai into my file hello.txt and it will close my file. For example, if there is an exception while writing this line of code, even though exception occurred while writing this line of code, then successfully it will close my file. Though if there is an exception or not, inside try block, this finally block is always executed. This is use of try and finally approach. Next I will explain with statement approach. I written a equal to open hello.txt in write mode. This is with statement approach. So I took here with, this file is present in object A. So I written here with A, give colon. Inside this I written a.write, my name is Sai. Which statement will automatically close my file. So there is no need of writing a.close. For example, if there is no exception while writing this line of code, so it will add text, my name is Sai into my file hello.txt and it will automatically close my file. For example, exception occurred while writing this line of code. Even though it will close my file automatically. This is use of which statement approach. Context management can be done in two ways. First one is by using try and finally approach and next one is which statement approach. Next I will explain exeinfo function. The exeinfo function is used for obtaining information about an exception. For example, if any exception occurred in our program, then this exeinfo function will provide Information about exception that has been occurred. In order to use this exe_info function, at first you need to import sys module. This function returns a tuple of 3 values that gives information about exception that currently being handled. This exe_info function will display output in the form of tuple. That is nothing but it will display output in normal brackets. And this tuple contains 3 values. They are, first one is type, next one is values, and third one is traceback. Type is basically class object. Type gets the exception being handled. For example, zero division error occurred in our program. This type will display output class zero division error. Next one is values. Values gets the exception parameters. And last one is traceback. Traceback gets a traceback object. I will give an example so that you can clearly understand what is use of this exe_info function. This is the example. In order to use exe_info function, at first you need to import sys module. So at first I written import sys, and next I written a = 10 and b = 0. Now inside try block I written print a by b. I already said before, we cannot divide any number by 0. If we divide any number by 0, it will display exception. Inside try block I written print a by b, and next inside except block I written print sys dot, where sys is this module name, so sys dot exe_info, where this exe_info is function, so take brackets. This is program. We cannot divide any number by 0. It will skip this try block and it will execute except block. Except block contains statement, that is print sys dot exe_info. I already said before, exe_info function will display output in the form of tuple. Inside normal brackets, it will display 3 values. They are, first value is type. Type is nothing but class object. So you will get output class zero division error. And next one is values. Values gets the exception parameters. This is my output. Zero division error, and this is reason, division by 0. And last one is traceback. Traceback gets a traceback object. So you will get output traceback object at, this is address. This example, exception occurred inside try block. This is address. Traceback object will display address where exception has been occurred. So you will get output traceback object at 0x7x56 so on. This is address. This exe_info function is used to provide information about exception that has been occurred, and it will display output in the form of tuple, and inside tuple it will display 3 values. They are, first one is type, that is nothing but class object, and next one is values, that is nothing but exception parameter, and last value is traceback object. It will display address where exception has been occurred. Next I will explain standard exceptions in Python. We also call these standard exceptions as built-in exceptions because these exceptions are already present in Python. Zero division error and next indentation error, syntax error, import error. All these are examples of standard exceptions because these exceptions are already present in Python. So whenever any exceptions occur in our program, it will display those exceptions. For example, here I written a = 10 and b = 0. Whenever I write here print a by b, I will get output zero division error. And next example, I took here for loop for I in range of 1, 10. Actually, I should follow indentation. That means after giving some space, I need to write print I. But without giving any space, I written here print I. So it will display output indentation error. And next one is syntax error. I written here print of 10. Actually, print spelling is print. But I written here print. So it will display output syntax error. And next one is import error. For example, I want to import keyword module. I written here import. By using import keyword, you can import any module. And I took here module name as keyword. Actually, keyword spelling is keyword, but I written here keyword. And this module is not present. It will display import error. Guys, we also call this zero division error as arithmetic error. Whenever arithmetic error question comes in exam, you can write this example. I will explain some more built-in exceptions that are present in Python. Guys, first one is name error. For example, I want to print a plus b. I given a = 5 and I did not given b value. Next I written c = a plus b. And next write print sum = c. Whenever you run this code, it will display name error because I did not given value of b. It will display output name error. Name b is not defined. And next one is zero division error. This is example. As I already said what is zero division error. We cannot divide any number by 0. If we divide any number by 0, then it will display zero division error. For example, I written a = 5, b = 0 and print a by b. So you will get output traceback most recent call, zero division error, division by 0. And next I will explain what is value error. For example, I want to perform addition. So I written here a = int of input of enter number, b = int of input of enter number. Next I return print sum equal to comma a plus b. For example, here I given a value as 23 and b value as abc. Actually I return here b equal to int of input of enter number. So I should enter only integer value. But here I given string value. So it will display error message, value error, invalid literal for int based on abc. That is nothing but we need to enter only integer value. And next I will explain what is index error. For example, I return a equal to I took list. List contains 3 elements. They are C, Java and Python. Next I return print list item is a of 5. A of 5 is nothing but value which is present in index number 5. The C is present in index number 0 and Java in index 1 and Python in index number 2. And there is no index number 5. It will display index error. That is nothing but index error, list index out of range. Next I will explain key error. For example, here I return a equal to I took dictionaries. Inside curly braces I took key name and value Madhu. And similarly another key that is location and value Hyderabad. So I given name Madhu and location Hyderabad. For example, here I return print the age is in double quotations comma a of age, where this age is key. Actually there are only 2 keys present in my dictionary. They are name and location. But here I given age. Actually this age key is not present in my dictionary. So it will display key error. Get output, that is nothing but key error, that is age. Next I will explain IO error. IO is nothing but input and output. For example, here I written a equal to open. I want to open one file. That file name is exam.py. And whenever I write here print a, if this file is not present in my system, then it will display IO error. Yes, this file is not present in my system, so I'll get output IO error. That is nothing but file not found, IO error. No such file or directory exam.py. Next I will explain exceptions as a string. Normally before Python version 1.5, programmers used to create their own exceptions by using strings. This example, I created exception. And normally we are creating this exception by using strings. So in double quotations I written error, wrong input. This is nothing but exception which is created by me. But we don't consider it as exception. We consider it as string. So there is no relationship between exceptions and strings. So in order to overcome this problem, from Python version 1.5, they introduced exception classes in order to create our own exceptions. By using exception classes, we can create our own exceptions. From Python version 1.6, if you want to create any string exceptions, just after starting Python, you need to type command, that is -x. So this -x command will provide standard exceptions as a string. And whenever Python version 2.5 begins, they remove string exceptions completely. So from Python version 2.5, user cannot create any string exceptions. They remove string exceptions completely, because there is no relationship between strings and exceptions. So these string exceptions are bad idea. Next I will explain why exceptions now. As you know, while developing any software, definitely you will get error. So in present computer world, we need to handle those errors. If we handle errors, then whatever the software that we are creating, it will work correctly. At present we are running applications on graphical user interface. So softwares must be created correctly without any error. At present we are using internet and we are using many e-commerce websites like Amazon. And we are performing many transactions online. For example, let us consider we created one web page. If I enter some wrong input in that web page, then that web page must have capability to display some error message regarding that exception. Nowadays many applications are used by millions of people. So special care must be taken in order to smooth flow of application. And even in any error situation, application should close successfully. So if you are creating any applications by using Python programming, by using exception handling, you can achieve it. Next I will explain why exceptions at all. Exception is nothing but it is an error that occurs during execution of program. So when any error occurs, Python generates an exception in order to handle those errors. Whenever you want to develop any code, then there is chance that error may occur. So in order to handle those errors, we use exception handling. If any error occurs, then program stops execution and it will display some error message, nothing but exception. Only after handling those exceptions, you can execute your program.